Greetings and welcome back to the Car Doctor Studios here in Anchorage, Alaska. My name's Tim. Thanks for stopping by the shop today. Hey, we got a special case here that we're working on today. Customer brought in this '05 Tahoe complaining of the service suspension message displayed on the driver's information display, and the auto ride system, the air pump air suspension system's not functioning properly. So we're gonna check some stuff out here. It's definitely helpful if you have a scan tool to access the air ride codes on this rig. It's gonna be necessary. Definitely save you a lot of heartache trying to diagnose these complex problems. They're a super common problem associated with Chevrolet Tahoes, Suburbans, the Yukons and Yukon Denali's, and other vehicles with the auto ride system. And they're a common problem with the pump and the wiring in these systems. But you are going to need to access the module so you can talk to it, so you can pull codes and also do functional tests for to diagnose this thing. So let's proceed onward. I'm going to hook up the Virus and we're going to see if we have any stored codes. I'm going to hook up the Virus and interface with this rig. We've got a Tahoe 4-wheel drive. This has the 5.3 Venti and suspension. Okay, let's display the codes. History. We got a left rear position sensor circuit fault. Okay, here's something else we can do while we're here. Let's go to functional tests. I want to make sure the compressor's working. We can do a functional compressor test, command it on and watch for it. You can also see in the data that I'm getting 0 volts at the left rear position sensor. My other sensors are reading properly, and there's really no air pressure in the system. But I'm going to command it on, and I do not hear any pump activity. Pump is not running. So yeah, you can see why having the scan tool and being able to view that data for the individual sensors, all the sensors in the system, going down to air pressure and whatnot, and being able to command a functional test on the compressor pump, which is not responding. It measures voltage supplied to it, so I'm suspicious that the pump's gone bad too. After quizzing the customer, I found out that this problem's existed for years now. The system has not functioned properly, so it's no surprise that there may be multiple problems. So in this case, the pump, the compressor, and the left rear wheel speed sensor are behind the left rear tire on this thing. So we'll go over to left rear. In other cases on Suburbans and later model rigs, you'll find it on the right rear. And you just need to look in the component locator and or just crawl under it and you'll be able to find it. One thing you can do is you can command it on in a functional test and rap on it a little bit and see if the pump comes on. It's definitely common that the brushes go bad in these pumps and fail. Another thing to note, if you run into a ton of problems and it's a really expensive fix on these systems, there is an aftermarket system that involves replacing the rear coil springs and the front and rear shocks, and then you install a little module that basically tells the rest of the system that it's okay, and you'll no longer get the message up there, and you'll have just a conventional suspension in the rig, and you won't have to worry about the air shocks and the problems associated with these complex systems, especially on older year model vehicles or high mileage rigs or rigs that have been exposed to a lot of corrosion and whatnot. This one's got over 160,000 miles, which up here is quite a few. In Alaska, the conditions are such that, you know, anything over 150,000 miles on these, you're going to experience problems like this. So it's no surprise, and we'll just plug away at it, see if we can figure out what's going on. Well, just in case you run into a front ride height sensor problem, here's the left front ride height sensor as mounted on the vehicle. Right here, it's got an electrical connector on the top back of it. Got a little linkage that connects to the upper control arm and measures the ride height. Here's if you do get a failure of the front ride height sensor, check this linkage first off. These can snap or become disconnected from the sensor itself and cause a ride height issue there. So something worth thinking about. Keep that in mind as well. Okay, I'm over here at the left rear wheel well area. I've removed the left rear tire, and so in order to go any further here with the diagnoses, with checking any of these components, you're going to need to access the left rear wheel speed sensor, which is right here. It's mounted just behind this inner fender well cover. And then here's the pump motor assembly here. It's the pump motor and valving is all right there. So we're going to need to get at that as well. So even though I could probably just remove a few of these clippies and access this this sensor enough to get at it, test it, and even change it, since we're going over here to the pump and everything, I'm just going to pull the entire inner fender well. There's 3 screws on either side, a couple of these retainer clips. We're going to remove that, pull this cover off, and see if we can figure out exactly what's going on. So just being in the inner fender well, the pump motor and the sensor are exposed to quite a bit of road grit, a lot of corrosion that can happen here. So we're gonna, as part of our testing, we're gonna check the wiring, the connectors and whatnot, and make sure they're still good, and go from there. See if it's a component failure, or if it's a wiring or a connection problem or what. Okay, well, here's a problem in the wiring going to the left rear wheel speed sensor. Along the wiring here, we're rubbed through the insulation, and it's exposed to copper wires, and then you can see the green telltale sign of green, whatever they call that, copper sulfate corrosion, and it's melted right through the wire. So there's our source of 0 voltage to the left rear wheel sensor. So we're not going to need to more than likely not going to need to replace the sensor, but just repair the connector in. I'm going to see if I can get a new connector in, or if I just need to repair this wire here. But that's encouraging. We got that squared away. And now we'll just see what the deal is with the pump. Well, I'm going to go ahead and fix the bad wiring I see here before I proceed on with testing the compressor circuit back here. Just to make sure that it's not somehow related, although I'm quite certain it's not. But might as well fix what we know is bad and then move on to the next issue. So I'm just going to cut out the bad section and solder in a new wire of the same gauge. I'm going to use some shrink tubing, and then I'm going to wrap this up and maybe even put some protective shielding around it so that doesn't happen again. Okay, this pump is dead to the world. So it's got 12 volts to it. It's got a good ground, and it's not functioning. So it's gonna go. It's got a few mounting screws, an electrical connector, and air hose. Let's disconnect that. And little vent hose. And there we go. There's the old unit. I had to order one, so I've got it overnighted. A lot of times in Alaska, these OE parts can be difficult, especially on, something that's a few years old. They don't always have them in stock, but we got it coming for tomorrow. So I'm just ready to button this thing up when the pump comes in. We'll double check it after we get it installed. But I think this one's progressing along nicely. We'll check back in tomorrow. Okay, we got our compressor in. Come in a pretty big box. It's probably going to have all the bracketry on it. There we go. Complete unit. Pretty much plug and play. It's got a new vent filter. Yeah, pretty straightforward. So, just a matter of bolt it on and plug and play. I'll get this thing jacked up and pull the old bracketry off and slam this puppy on. Okay, I got it lowered back down. I've connected my scanner. So we're going to test the system. Again. Clear the codes first. And functional test. Compressor on. Oh yeah. Hear the pump running, pressure climbing, pressure voltage. Position sensors are in line. Excellent. We have success. All right. Well, another successful repair. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful to someone out there. And appreciate you watching. And good luck with your repairs, all right? Have a good one. Bye.